Well, we're back at it again, Joe. They brought us back for another year. The Audible Football Friday begins right now. We got another season of high school football. We'll be here almost each and every week, and some great games. Just had a good one here, and well, I tell you, the team from Maryland came down, St. Francis. You know, Central, pretty big football team. They look like boys playing against men.
That St. Francis, Maryland team, you hate to say I've never seen anything like it, but I've never seen a team that looked like that. They just beat a really good Central team, 49-13. Big ESPN Day. We're here live at Trask Powell, and we got another top 10 game in South Florida coming up with Carroll City and Deerfield Beach.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, it's all part of high school. The bands are out, man.
The bands are out, and we're ready to go. But yeah, we got a big one, Carroll City, Deerfield Beach coming up. But Joe, it's nice to have football back. But high school football, and started off last night. Got to see St. Thomas go out and play De La Salle out in Concord, California. De La Salle, one of the historic teams, had a 151-game winning streak and continue to be one of the powerhouses in Northern California. And St. Thomas, really, quite frankly, they had their hands full. They were able to win 24-14. In the end, they got a field goal in the end and gave them a little breathing room. But I was nip and tuck down to the end there for a while.
You know, it's really been, I called this week the best first week of high school football I can remember here in South Florida. So many great games, and congratulations to Chaminade, Palmetto, Northwestern, and what they're able to do a really good Cardinal Gibbons team, and St. Thomas, as you just mentioned, with De La Salle out in Northern California. Just a few of the teams that for week one, damn good games, and we got another great one with Carroll City and Deerfield
You look around and show you talk about that just at this stadium yesterday. You had Cardinal Gibbons come down, and played Northwestern, and Cardinal Gibbons, I think it was 33-0 that game. And Cardinal Gibbons, a team that coming off a state championship, they built a pretty good program, but they lost a lot of players, and you can see the difference. Football team's going to get better as they go along, but boy, they had their hands full last night.
No question about that. So, hey, we're back. Even though it's Football Friday and it's Saturday, from time to time we'll do that when we got a great weekend. And, boy, I'll tell you what, being at Trask Powell, Bo, for me, the tradition, the great players that have played here, the great teams that have played here, we could do an NFL Hall of Fame team of players that have played on this field. This is the only place I'd want to be for week one.
Just as good next week. We go to St. Thomas. They play Bergen Catholic, one of the great traditional football powerhouses out of New Jersey, coming down to play that. So it's amazing now. You know, it's funny how football has gone now. High school football has gone where you got team coming down from Maryland. They go out to Concord. You got someone from New Jersey coming down. Teams are flying around. And I think, for me, I know there's that argument, there's that question, is it good for high school kids to get all this attention?
Yes.
You know, I have no problem with it. I think it's great for the programs. It's great for high school football. It's great for those kids to get an opportunity to play in games like that. You know, some of these kids may never get to travel anywhere again in their lives.
Bo,
so it's a great opportunity for them.
I think it's part of our identity here in South Florida is how good our football teams are. People ask about Northwestern. They ask about Central. And, by the way, it's not just a private thing. We got some great public schools down here that are winning state championships. The Booker T team has been so good. So, hey, listen, you can go on and on about it. But, Bo, you got a chance to jump on a plane and be on ESPN. We got three of them. Let's do it, man.
You know, speaking of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Superintendent Alberto Carvalho is joining us now. And look
at this,
Alberto, man. Wait.
I dressed up.
Welcome. Wait a minute. We got a lot to talk about. And one of the things one of the things we want to talk about is the Values Matter Miami project that you guys are a program that you're working. But first, I saw your commercial with Raekwon McMillan. Were you busting out the guns? You went short sleeve. I thought you were the coach.
He was a little intimidated by my size.
I thought you were the coach from this Maryland school. I thought you were the coach from this Maryland school. He had the T-shirt, arms cut off. You're just throwing those pythons out for everyone to see, man.
Yeah, right. And I was still humiliated on the field.
Don't you worry. We're having fun trying to get you to get out one of those nice suits to come out here with us, and you did a nice job.
Listen, I heard you on the phone. I dressed down. No tie, no suit, no Italian shoes. Look, you know, values matter. You know, we're ready on day one to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. But I think there's something that's missing in our culture, our society, and our schools. The teaching of respect, responsibility, integrity, citizenship. Right. Quite frankly, a lot of the things that coaches teach their athletes on the field, on the court, it's something that we want to teach in our schools. And very thankful to Jason Jenkins and the entire team at the Dolphins, because they become our partners, and they're going to help us through PSAs, and quite frankly, recognizing every month that the Dolphins plays at home, the Values Matter Miami Student of the Month. Just on a basis of good behavior, good conduct, good core values. I think it's time to go back to that. I think we miss a little bit of that in America today.
There's a lot of population that looks at high school sports, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, is just something that kids do, and a lot of people say, well, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? But I think you hit on something. If you're going to play football at any level, and especially in Dade and Broward County, Palm Beach County now, the quality is you've got to be disciplined, you've got to be dedicated, you've got to do your schoolwork, you've got to do all the things that you got to do in order to be able to get out there and practice. And so I think as much as it is the athletic side of it, it reinforces how important the educational side of it is, because if you don't get your job done in the classroom, you're not going to get to play on the football field. And virtually every coach that we spoke to over the last couple of years that we've been doing this, one of the first things they say is, hey, the first thing that matters to us is that they're getting the job done in the classroom so they can come out here and play football.
They are student athletes.
Yes.
And they are fierce on the field, but they're brilliant in a classroom. And for me and for every single coach, every single principal and teacher, that's what we aim for, is young men and women who succeed on a court, on the field, in the pool, whatever they do, but they graduate high school and they have a plan for the future. And look, I'm so encouraged by the fact that representing Miami-Dade, this is the second year in a row that in our school system there are third year in a row, 0 F-rated schools.
Wow.
Second year in a row we are an A-rated school system. So we have this perfect marriage between attitude, behavior, performance, decorum, and values. And I'm a huge proponent of young people engaging in sports, because there are some things you learn in the classroom, but there are others. The soft skills, grit, determination, courage, honor, that you learn often on the field. And for a lot of our young boys, particularly young boys, who grew up under very harsh conditions, often the coach is the surrogate father. The coach is the surrogate mother. That's why I'm here today, because I heard you speaking earlier. A lot of what we see on the field here, match it up against any collegiate football game, any NFL game. You have the same passion, the same grit, the same determination. So I'm inspired.
I was going to ask you, the football culture we have, it's such a big part of South Florida, especially Dade County, where we have more NFL players than any other county. In the NFL or in the country. I'm just curious, is it good? Is it good, and is it part of what we are, the football culture down here? Are you okay with it?
I am, but I'll tell you one thing. And I see it as a professional career. There are a lot of good folks who have part-time jobs and they do this. So I'm going to announce something here that's been a priority for my own school board. Football coaches in Miami-Dade, we're going to go to the table this year and significantly increase their salaries. They are underpaid.
No doubt.
And the hours, if you were to divide the number of hours they commit, take into account the salary they make pennies. We ought to do more than that, particularly when I said what I said. They are far more than just athletic trainers, more than just athletic coaches. They are the fathers and mothers to a lot of these kids.
Wow.
They are the only voice and heart that often accompanies that young man. We're going to do something big for them this year.
That's great. That's
the discipline that they bring to it, and that they teach these kids, allow these kids to get, kids that may never had the opportunity to go to school, get an education beyond high school, beyond public school. The work that these guys do to get them into schools. I've talked to coaches where that, get as many kids. Look, you may not go to a Division I school, but we're going to get you somewhere where you can play in college and go and
free education.
And coming out the back door of college, now you got productive citizens, people that go out and do things, come back to their communities, support their communities, do all those things. So it's a cycle, and every little piece is part of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
You pull one of those pieces out, and it breaks down. And I think football is, and whether it's football, baseball, whatever athletics you play, high school, all part of that circle that I think is very important for the students down here.
And having your support and you coming out and seeing you all the time out here is great, Albert. We really appreciate it.
This is a tradition for me. I never miss it. This is what South Florida is all about. That's why we put more young kids will become young men on the NFL than anybody else. We're a powerhouse.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for
Alberto,
stopping by.
Good to see you, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And you
Thank
look
you.
great. You look great casual. Thank
Those
you.
guns. I'm looking at those guns there.
He looks good even in a white shirt. I never looked like that in my white shirts, Bo.
But he's right, though. You know, it's Joe. We've been here for a long time in Dade, Broward County. Been around here, and the growth of the football pro. And it's not only that, but I agree with him. I mean, you talk to these kids, and you talk to the coaches. They're all about business. They're all about school. They're all about getting these kids ready, not only for football, but ready for life.
Hey, Bo, how good was that? Speaking of getting a raise for all those coaches, great stuff. Good stuff, man.
All right, Deerfield Beach represented here tonight. They got a game, Carroll City, coming up. Javon Glenn with his coach, 13 years, been a head coach for 5 years, and Coach, football's back. I know you guys have been at it for a while, but games are starting now. Football season's here, and if you're like us, you're just as happy as could be.
Oh man, yeah. For us, football in South Florida is a year-round thing. So if you want to be competitive, you want to be good, and with what's riding on it for some of these kids, you got to take the onus to have it as a year-round festivity. So we're super excited that it counts now.
Yeah.
We're super excited that it's for the money, it's for the ring, it's for the championship. So that's very, very exciting.
You've had some really good football teams. A lot of people think skill position-wise, it's about as good as you have. Do you feel that way? And when you look at it, I know last year you guys ran into a really good Columbus team.
Yes.
How do you feel about this group?
I feel really, really good. I mean, we've got a lot of depth. As far as the guys, the knowns are the knowns. Everybody knows about them. We got some guys that are elite, and they come in and they work elite, they prepare elite. But I think some of the young guys that, particularly tonight, we got a ninth grader that hasn't been to 8 classes yet to be starting on the defensive line. But we've got some young guys that are super, super talented. I think we built the program the right way, so Deerfield Beach is going to be one of the mainstays for years to come.
Well, the competitive level all through the Tri-County area really down here continues to get better and better. And it seems to just make all those teams rise up, and the competition week to week is as intense as it's been in a long, long time.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think it's an attribute to the quality of coaches that are now at the helm of these some really good programs, both in Dade, Broward, and also at Palm Beach. I mean, some people get it construed that our good coaches are leaving and going for higher paid jobs in Georgia and Texas, but the guys who are really rooted in their communities and, in there with their kids, I mean, they're staying and they're developing guys. I heard you guys talk about earlier, Miami-Dade has more NFL guys than any place in the country. And if you look at the draft last year, you got 4 guys from Broward going the first round. So football means a lot, where we're from. And I think the guys that are at the helms and in control of programs are doing an awesome job. I got guys that I can look up to and be mentored by. And I plan to do the same with some other younger coaches coming behind me. And that's how we keep this thing going.
I got to tell you, it's got to be nice. You've been able to get kids now want to come to Deerfield Beach. It didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
How nice is that the program's getting that kind of respect where kids are going, hey, that's where I want to play?
I mean, it's really good. Like I said, when I got the job at Deerfield Beach, it wasn't really a rebuild because we've been good for years. We just had to give the kids, give the parents, something to be proud of, something to want to come back to. And then when you get guys going off and doing really, really well and coming back and entrenching themselves in the community, I mean, that helps a lot too. So, I mean, just this morning, I had Jerry Judy call me early. He's got a workout. He's like, Coach, we got to be ready. Tell Jalen to do this. Tell Dejan to do this. So it's like the big brother, the family, the atmosphere, the culture that we built has allowed us to be really, really successful.
I thought you were going to tell me he ran for another 70-yard touchdown or something in a scrimmage or something.
I started to text Nick Saban asking I borrow him for today.
Yeah. You got Carroll City, great football team, great program historically over the years. What do you see in them? What do you guys need to do to come away with a win here?
I got a lot of respect for the Carroll City program year in, year out. I mean, their history, it says itself. So it's going to be a hard-fought game, a team that's going to be scrappy, going to play. They got some explosive athletes on the edge. Got some guys with some sheer will. So I'm looking forward to a really good test. 2 really good football teams, getting ready to lay it on the line and put on the show on the national stage. So there's nothing more you can ask for. The best football in the world. Yep. We get an opportunity to showcase that we are. So, other parts of the country, everybody can see it. I got kids at Oregon tuned in. Yeah. So, they can tell their roommate, this is how we do it. And they can be able to visually show it to them.
What a great way to start it. Dave Broward to start this thing. And, oh, by the way, we'll throw in a little ESPN on here, too, for everybody. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, a lot of fun. Super excited. Looking forward to getting out here and really, showcasing, not just the Deerfield Beach brand, but just South Florida football as a whole to the world.
Coach, thanks for stopping by, man. Wish you the
Thank
best
you
of
guys
luck.
for having me.
Best of luck today, and best of luck this
healthy.
season.
You guys have a nice year.
Keep everyone healthy and keep everyone moving forward. You know, it's funny, Joe.
Well, he got some horse. We didn't have a chance to get into the horses, but he's got a bunch of them. So, well, we probably ought to stand here while we're here.
Yeah,
but
Joe, probably should wait for this anthem to kind of blow through here a little bit.
This might be our first national anthem while we're live.
Yeah. All right. Back to football. Joshua Taylor, head coach at Carroll City High School, joining us now. And Coach, welcome,
Coach,
man.
thanks. Coach Taylor, appreciate
Welcome.
it. Thank you.
So you've been coaching for 7 years. Your first head coaching job. You kind of got this job a little late. Were you able to get everything in order and
it's
get
yours.
to where you want to be?
Yeah, well, the good thing about the Carroll City program, we pride ourselves on tradition, on family. So the program runs itself, man. The plan that Coach Benedict put into place and the plan that Coach Aubrey and Coach Frazier before him put into place is a well-oiled machine.
Let me ask you this. I got to ask you. I always say this. Your district, and it's busted up finally, but I can't imagine Northwestern Central and Carroll City every year. What has that been like to go through that, and then Northwestern gets hot at the end of the year and they beat everybody?
Well, it's always fun, man. We always compete. My guy over there, we always compete with each other. We always see each other, so it's always fun. These kids, they grew up together. So on the field, it's just another big rivalry, big game every week in that district. Yeah.
The best district in high school football.
Yeah, we
right
call it
there.
the SEC of high school.
They split you guys all up now, though.
Yeah.
Coach, we were talking to Coach Glenn over there before you came down, and he talked about how football at the high school level now has almost become a year-round thing.
Yeah.
You got your off-season, you got weight work, you got all that stuff that goes along. So that means you spend more time with these kids. We had Superintendent Carvalho with us, too. We talked about the educational side, all that thing, and how much coaches mean to these players. Some players that they're in single families, single family households, or fathers are there, mothers not there, whatever the situation is, and you kind of become a surrogate, and you spend a lot of times over the course of the year with these kids. And how does that closeness help you guys as coaches, but more importantly, these kids as they work their way not only through playing football, but going to classes, being on time, doing the right thing, getting good grades, and being able to come out here and play?
Yeah, that's a big thing. We pride ourselves on tradition. We pride ourselves on family at Carroll City, and that's all it has been. We got to be those father figures to those guys, and we got to be that family structure to those guys, and it pays dividends in, like you said, in the classroom, on the field. I feel like when the team loves each other, they're gonna play well together. They're gonna bond better, and they're gonna be very successful.
How much work does go into? We always hear that. As far as getting kids home.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm hungry. You guys hear it all. Is it that much? Is it a full-time besides just not X's and O's?
Yeah, I joke with these guys I joke with my family all the time. I'm like, I have 70 kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. so that's just how it is, man. Like you said, you put so much work in with these guys, with these young guys, and they just become an extension on your own family. You know what I mean? So
it is time to play.
Right.
Tell us about your football team. You got some D1 commits going there. You got some talent like everyone down here.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your football team.
Yeah, you know, South Florida is the hotbed for talent, the hotbed for great athletes. I was just joking with somebody and saying, if a college team wants to win, you got to recruit South Florida. but that's how it is down here. And like our team is no different. We always have a great group of young guys, a great group of hungry kids that want to play, that want to do great things, humble, coachable. Like I love our guys. I love our kids.
Always a good defense too. Let's not leave out that Carroll City D. I think tonight's going to be a defensive-minded game, even though Deerfield's got a lot of offensive talent.
Well, we pride ourselves on physicality and speed and on our defense. So we hope for it to be a great fought game, both defensively and offensively for us.
Coach, first year as a head coach, got a game coming up. You a little nervous?
I'm great. I'm feeling great.
You're not worried it's on national TV your first game. Way to go.
It's cool with me, man. I love the cameras.
Okay. Well, you got them.
Yeah. Not for nothing, but national TV, you could have trimmed up that. You know what I mean?
We just coming out of camp, man.
Hey, you keep it going, Coach. That's right.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good
Appreciate
season.
it very much.
Enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's going to be a good football game here. Carroll City, Deerfield Beach, Dade, Broward.
Wow.
Mixing it up. And, not so many years ago, Joe, it would have been a one-way deal, Dade and Broward. But Broward, and we've talked about it the last couple of years, every year they just continue to get better and better and better, and they compete at a better level with the Dade County teams than they used to.
It's funny you said that. It does seem like Broward now has really solidified themselves. Deerfield Beach has become a really good one. Cardinal Gibbons, Chaminade has been really good. Of course, St. Thomas is St. Thomas. Pat Sertan up at American Heritage Plantation. So
Western a couple of years. Last couple of years, it popped into being a challenging team.
Western's got maybe their best team they've had ever, Bo, this year. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun year. And I think Broward's knocked it down against Dade a little closer than it used to be.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you really deserve to take some time out. If you haven't seen a high school football game in South Florida, take a Friday night, and there's going to be a high school football game right around the corner somewhere. So go ahead and check it out, Joe. Before we move on here, let's talk a little bit about our football team, the Miami Dolphins. Last preseason game, the third preseason game is in the books. You close up this week against the Saints in New Orleans on Thursday in a game where majority of the starters are going to be standing with me over the sideline watching the game, and we'll get the guys that are scrapping for the final roster spots out there on the football field. And, Joe, as you look at it, you see some good things, but this is a team that's a work in progress. And Coach Flores is trying to instill a lot of discipline and trying to put his stamp on this football team. He's done so far, but this is going to be this is a big job.
We got some strong positions, but we also have some big holes at certain positions that are real thin, and I'm being nice, very thin. Offensive line, very thin. Cover corners, very thin. Pass rushers, very thin. So those areas, Bo, we're going to develop young guys. I expect this, Bo, I wouldn't be surprised. I think you'll agree with me. We could pick up as many as 5 guys from other rosters coming up in the final cut.
But I think the other thing, too, Joe, I think if you want to kind of look a little forward, it's a young football team. And it's funny, I talked to Laramie Tunsil. I talked to Gottschall. And you think you're talking to the old guys on the team because this is a young football team. But you've also had some situations, especially going into this season, where you got guys that you didn't expect that are playing well for you. Sam McGuavin comes down from Canada, free agent. No one expected him to do anything. He's probably going to start for you when the season rolls around. Shaq Calhoun, he was on nobody's radar. He's the guy that's probably going to start for you.
Got a big, strong wide receiver. It's going to be a big part of it.
Preston Williams, another guy that's a free agent that no one was counting on. So if you can hit on some of those guys along with your draft choices, and Christian Wilkins is playing what you expect Christian Wilkins to do when you draft him.
Only going to get better,
you get your guy Laird out of Cal, another free agent that comes in here and is making some waves. And so you got some of these guys that are making some noise. And I think that's how this team is going to get to be the team that Coach Flores wants it to be, is by, getting some of those guys you didn't expect to come out and become starters. And some of those guys may be stars for you as you move forward.
Bo, and then you throw in the Rosen Fitzpatrick thing, which I know everybody was asked you, and I know I've been asked about a zillion times. And if Rosen doesn't start, he's going to play a lot of football on this team this year and start a lot of games. But your point about rookie free agents going to be on this team could be a record amount on that 53. It's going to be a lot.
Yep. All right. Getting ready for football here. It's going to be Miami, Carroll City, Deerfield Beach out of Fort Lauderdale.
Two of the best 10 teams.
Two of the
top
best,
two
two
in-
very good
yeah.
football teams. Getting
South
things
Florida.
started off. We just saw the game earlier where it's a very good Central team. Had their hands full with this team from Maryland that came down St. Francis.
Crazy.
Loaded with talent. I tell you, that was a big football team. I looked at that offensive line. I thought, holy crime.
When you got here, I go, Bo, look at that offensive line
Yep.
at St. Francis.
Yep.
It's not an NFL, I swear. It's a high school.
If you want to watch it, that game is on ESPNU. You can see this game here tonight, this app right now. It's Carroll City and Deerfield Beach, ESPNU. Remember, next week we're going to be at St. Thomas Aquinas. It's Bergen Catholic out of New Jersey coming down to face the number one team in the nation, St. Thomas Aquinas, who struggled a little bit out against that team in De La Salle. Very good program, very good football team, but that's good. So, Joe, football's back. Got high school football. We got the Canes and the Gators tonight. That's going to be fun. And Joe, I've been kind of starving for football, and I'm getting my fill of it right now. I'm getting plenty of it right now. I hope you guys are getting plenty of fill of it. Thanks for joining us here on Audible Football Friday. We'll be back again next week. I'll be a little bit Saturday again next week. It's Football Friday, but keep your eyes open because maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Who knows? Maybe Troy Drayton will have us do his game on Tuesday.
Troy Drayton's going to dance next week. You're not going to want to miss it.
He's going to be dancing behind us. Oh, Joe.
All right, he's going to keep,
I just had a flash in my eyes.
Pants on. He's going to keep some pants on.
I got to get out of here. We're done. We'll see you next time.